Let us discuss an AC voltage applied to an inductor. Look at the circuit. It consists of an alternating source of EMF E, and opposite to that there is a coil of self-inductance L. Now look at the statement below the diagram. Consider a circuit containing a pure inductor of inductance L connected across an alternating voltage source E as shown in the figure. The alternating voltage is given by the equation V equal to Vm sin omega t, equation 1. The alternating current flowing through the inductor induces a self-induced EMF or back EMF in the circuit, which is given by V dash equal to minus L di by dt. This is equation 2. According to Kirchhoff's loop rule or voltage law, the algebraic sum of the potential differences in a closed circuit is 0. That is sigma E equal to 0. Therefore, V minus V dash equal to 0, or substituting for V and V dash, Vm sin omega t minus L di by dt is equal to 0. Now the negative term is shifted to the right and rearranged, or L di by dt equal to Vm sin omega t, or di by dt is equal to Vm by L into sin omega t. This is equation 3. Since current I is a function of time, the slope di by dt must be a sinusoidally varying quantity. Hence, the current in the circuit is got by integrating equation 3 with respect to time. Therefore, integral di by dt of dt equal to Vm by L into integral sin omega t dt. So on the left hand side, dt and dt get cancelled. Therefore, integral of di becomes I, and that is equal to Vm by L into integral of sin omega t gives minus cos omega t, and the coefficient of t omega is coming in the denominator, plus an integration constant. Since the current oscillates symmetrically about 0, the time independent component of current is 0. This is because current depends on time. Hence, the integration constant is 0, or I equal to Vm divided by omega L into sin of omega t minus pi by 2, because cos omega t is equal to sin 90 minus omega t, and minus cos omega t is equal to sin of omega t minus pi by 2, or I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. This is equation 4, where Vm by omega L equal to Im is called the current amplitude, which is the maximum value of the current. The term omega L is analogous to resistance and is called as inductive reactance, denoted by XL. It is the opposition offered by the inductor to the flow of AC. Therefore, XL equal to omega into L, and its unit is ohm, or XL is equal to 2 pi nu into L, because omega equal to 2 pi nu, where nu is the frequency of the applied AC voltage. Hence, the amplitude of the current is given by Im equal to Vm divided by XL. For AC, XL is directly proportional to the frequency. For DC, frequency nu equal to 0, hence XL equal to 0. Hence, an ideal inductor offers no resistance to DC current. From equation 1 and 4, it is found that the current lags the voltage by a phase angle pi by 2, or 1/4 of a cycle, that is T by 4. Now look at the graph. In the graph on the left side, you can see the blue vector V, and perpendicular to that in the fourth quadrant is the gray vector I. So the phase angle between V and I is pi by 2. So V is on the first quadrant while I is in the fourth quadrant. This means that the current is lagging behind the voltage by a phase angle pi by 2. Now the projection of V on the y-axis gives Vm sin omega t1, and the projection of I on the y-axis gives Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. This minus pi by 2 shows that the current is lagging behind the voltage by pi by 2. Now look at the graphical representation on the right side. The blue graph is the instantaneous voltage. It starts from the origin and it is represented by a sinusoidal wave. When voltage is 0 at the origin, what is the value of the current? If you see by the dotted line, it is still lagging below the origin. So we see that the current reaches its maximum value later than voltage by 1/4 of a period, that is T by 4. Also T by 4 is equal to pi by 2 divided by omega. Instantaneous power in inductive circuit represented by PL. The instantaneous power supplied to the inductor is equal to the product of the instantaneous current and instantaneous voltage. That is, PL is equal to I into V. Substituting I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. Substituting V equal to Vm sin omega t, we get PL equal to Im into Vm into minus cos omega t in place of omega t minus pi by 2 into sin omega t. That is equal to minus Im into Vm into cos omega t into sin omega t. Now multiplying and dividing by 2, we get PL is equal to minus Im into Vm divided by 2 into 2 sin omega t cos omega t. That is once again equal to minus Im Vm by 2 into sin of 2 omega t. So the average power over one cycle of AC is capital PL. That is equal to average of minus Im Vm by 2 into sin of 2 omega t. That is equal to minus Im Vm by 2, that constant is taken out, into average of sin 2 omega t. Since the average value of sin 2 omega t is equal to 0, therefore PL is equal to 0. Thus, the average power supplied to an inductor over one complete cycle of AC is 0. Let us now discuss AC voltage applied to a capacitor. You look at the diagram. On the left side, there is a source of EMF represented by E, and the symbol of AC is a sine wave. Opposite to that is a parallel plate capacitor of capacitance C. Below the diagram, consider a circuit containing a capacitor of capacitance C connected across an alternating voltage source. The alternating voltage is given by V equal to Vm sin omega t, equation 1. The capacitor is alternately charged and discharged as the current reverses each half cycle. Let Q be the charge on the capacitor at any time t. The instantaneous voltage V across the capacitor is V equal to Q by C, equation 2. According to Kirchhoff's loop rule or voltage law, the voltage across the source and the capacitor are equal. Therefore, Q by C must be equal to Vm sin omega t, or Q equal to Vm into C into sin omega t, equation 3. The instantaneous current in the circuit is given by I equal to dq by dt, that is equal to d by dt of Vm into C sin omega t, or I equal to Vm into C into d by dt of sin omega t, that is equal to Vm into C into cos omega t into omega, or I equal to Vm divided by 1 by omega c into cos omega t, or I equal to Vm divided by 1 by omega c into sin omega t plus pi by 2, because cos omega t is equal to sin pi by 2 plus omega t, that is also equal to sin of omega t plus pi by 2, or I equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. This is equation 4, where Vm divided by 1 by omega c is equal to Im, that is equal to the current amplitude or maximum value of current. The term 1 by omega c is analogous to resistance and is called as capacitive reactance Xc. It is the opposition offered by the capacitor to the flow of AC. Therefore, Xc is equal to 1 by omega c. Its unit is ohm, or Xc is equal to 1 by 2 pi nu into c, because omega equal to 2 pi nu, where nu represents the frequency of the applied AC voltage. Hence, the amplitude of the current is given by Im is equal to Vm divided by Xc. For AC, Xc is inversely proportional to the frequency. For DC, frequency nu equal to 0. Hence, Xc is equal to 1 by 0, that is equal to infinity. Thus, a capacitive circuit offers infinite resistance to the steady current DC. So, the steady current DC cannot flow through the capacitor. From equations 1 and 4, it is found that the current leads the voltage by a phase angle pi by 2, or 1/4 of a cycle t by 4. Now look at the left side diagram. The phasor I is shown in the second quadrant and the phasor V is shown in the first quadrant. The angle between I and V is pi by 2. This means that the current is ahead of the voltage by a phase angle pi by 2. In the right side diagram, you can see that the graphical representation of instantaneous voltage is bluish and that of the current is by dotted line. At the origin, when the voltage is 0, at the same time the current has already reached its maximum value. So we see that the current reaches its maximum value earlier than voltage by 1/4 of a period t by 4. Also, t by 4 must be equal to pi by 2 divided by omega. Instantaneous power in a capacitive circuit denoted by Pc. The instantaneous power supplied to the capacitor is equal to the product of the instantaneous current and instantaneous voltage. Therefore, Pc is equal to I into V. That is equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2 into Vm sin omega t. That is equal to Im Vm into cos omega t into sin omega t. This is because sin omega t plus pi by 2 is also equal to cos omega t. Again, multiplying and dividing by 2, we get Pc is equal to Im Vm by 2 into 2 sin omega t cos omega t. That is equal to Im Vm by 2 into sin of 2 omega t. So, the average power over one cycle of AC is given by capital Pc is equal to average of Im Vm by 2 into sin of 2 omega t. That is equal to Im Vm by 2 into average of sin 2 omega t. Since average of sin 2 omega t is equal to 0, PC is equal to 0. Thus, the average power supplied to a capacitor over one complete cycle of AC is 0. In the previous topics, we have seen how AC voltage applied to a resistor separately, a capacitor separately, and an inductor separately will behave. Now we are going to discuss the behavior of AC voltage applied to a series combination of LCR circuit. Look at the diagram. On the left side is the source of EMF E, and it is connected to a series combination of resistor R, capacitor C, and inductor L. Consider a circuit containing a resistance of resistor R, an inductor of inductance L, and a capacitor of capacitance C connected across an alternating voltage source E. The applied alternating voltage of the source is given by the equation V equal to Vm sin omega t. This is equation 1. Also, V must be equal to V across the coil, that is VL, plus V across the capacitor, that is VC, plus V across the resistor VR, that is V equal to VL plus VC plus VR, that is equal to L di by dt plus Q by C plus IR. Here VL is shown L di by dt taking only the modulus or magnitude. Minus is neglected. Therefore, V equal to L di by dt plus Q by C plus IR. This is equation 2. To determine the instantaneous current and its phase relationship with the applied alternating voltage V, we use the phasor diagram method. Phasor diagram method. Since the inductor, capacitor and resistor are connected in series, the current flowing through each element will be the same at any instant. It is given by I equal to Im sin omega t plus phi. This is equation 3, where phi is the phase difference between the voltage across the source and the current in the circuit. Let capital I vector be the phasor representing the current in the circuit. Let VR vector be the voltage across the resistor, and VR is in phase with the current I. Let VL vector be the voltage across the inductor, and VL is ahead of I by pi by 2. Let VC vector be the voltage across the capacitor, and VC lags behind current I by pi by 2. Let capital V represent voltage across the source. Now you can look at the diagram. The current I and VR vectors act along the same direction, that is, they are in pace with each other, and the vector VL is ahead of the current I by a phase angle pi by 2, and the vector VC lags behind the current by a phase angle pi by 2. The amplitude or length of the phasor VR is equal to VRM, that is equal to Im into R. Amplitude or length of phasor VL is equal to VLM, that is equal to Im into XL. Amplitude or length of the phasor VC is equal to VCM, that is equal to Im into XC. The voltage equation for the LCR circuit is given by V equal to VL plus VC plus VR. This is equation 4. And the phasor relationship is given by capital V equal to capital VL plus capital VR plus capital VC, and this is equation 5. Now you can look at the diagram given below. The vector capital V makes an angle omega t with the x-axis, and the vector VR makes an angle phi with V, and the two vectors VC and VL are added vectorially and it becomes vector Vc plus vector Vl. That is, the amplitude or length of the vector Vc was greater than that of the length or amplitude of the vector Vl. But Vc and Vl are acting in opposite directions, and hence the resultant vector must have an amplitude equal to vector Vc plus vector Vl, that is equal to vector Vc plus minus of Vl. The magnitude of the vector Vc plus Vl is equal to Vc minus Vl. Magnitude only is Vc minus Vl. Let the circuit be effectively capacitive, that is Vc greater than Vl. Vc and Vl are always along the same line and in opposite directions. They can be combined into a single phasor Vc plus Vl, which has the magnitude of modulus of Vcm minus Vlm. Since V is represented as the hypotenuse of a right triangle whose sides are Vr and Vc plus Vl, then from Pythagorean theorem, Vm square is equal to Vrm square plus Vcm minus Vlm whole square. This is equation 6. Substituting Vrm is equal to Im into R, Vcm is equal to Im into Xc, and Vlm is equal to Im into Xl, we get Vm square is equal to Imr whole square plus Imxc minus Imxl the whole square. That is equal to Im square into R square plus Xc minus Xl the whole square. R, taking square root on both sides, Vm is equal to Im into square root of R square plus Xc minus Xl the whole square. This is equation 7. Therefore, Im is equal to Vm divided by square root of R square plus Xc minus Xl the whole square. This is equation 8. Comparing equation 8 with Ohm's law, it is found that the factor square root of R square plus Xc minus Xl the whole square plays the role of resistance. This effective opposition offered by the series LCR circuit to the flow of AC is called impedance Z. Therefore, Im is equal to Vm by Z, equation 9, and Z is equal to square root of R square plus Xc minus Xl the whole square. This is equation 10. Since phasor I is always parallel to the phasor Vr, the phase angle phi is the angle between Vr and V. It can be determined from the following impedance diagram. Look at the diagram. The bottom of the triangle is equal to R and the vertical side is equal to Xc minus Xl and the hypotenuse is equal to Z, and the angle made with the resistor R by the hypotenuse is equal to phi. Taking tangent value of phi, we get tan phi is equal to Xc minus Xl by R. This is equation 11. Also, tan phi is equal to Vcm minus Vlm by Vrm. This is equation 12. If Xc is greater than Xl, then phi is positive and the circuit is predominantly capacitive. If Xc is less than Xl, then phi is negative and the circuit is predominantly inductive. If Xc is equal to Xl, then phi equal to 0. That is, voltage and current are in phase with each other. The phasor diagram and variation of V and I with omega t for an arbitrary time t1 for the case Xc greater than Xl is shown below. In the left diagram, you can see that the phasor I is ahead of the phasor V by a phase angle phi. And in the right side graph, you can see that the voltage V is represented by the bluish curve and the current is represented by the dotted gray curve. The solution so obtained by drawing the phasor diagram is called as steady state solution. Okay, students, this is the end of the PowerPoint 1 in alternating current. The second PowerPoint will begin with the topic resonance. Okay, bye.